Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday morning. It's about 5 minutes past the hour. Today, it was not my fault that we're late. But 5 minutes past the hour. It's not a terrible thing. Considering how much you pay for this video, I suppose it's probably reasonable. Also noticing too, I don't know whether we're in a Mercury retrograde or not, but weekly commodity trend survey sheet is MIA right at the moment. I don't know whether Seward's working on stuff on the back end. And I noticed the news feed is a little bit sloppy, although I do see that Seward got the news feed working over here. I think he had to change the RSS feed. But nonetheless, welcome back to the frivolity. It is kind of a quiet news day today. Today we are in, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, like the calm before the storm, maybe. I got a whole bunch of crap that's supposed to hit the fan here. Econ wise through the week. Of course, we've got Fed tomorrow and Wednesday. And we have a whole bunch of crypto stuff all hitting the fan here this week. So you can see, like, tomorrow morning we got big inflation numbers. My hunch is, for whatever it's worth, I think the inflation numbers are actually going to be relatively soft. But I have noticed, like in Canada, for example, food and fuel prices have just gone absolutely crazy here again. So I don't think we're anywhere close to the end of this inflation bugaboo. This might, if anything, be a nice little calm within the storm. The Canadians paused raising interest rates there a couple of months ago, which was stupid. But really, if you make the argument, this is all about the Great Reset and how do they get that extra zero on the end of all these prices just to fuck the consumer over and the citizens of our country to serve the bankster elites. Well, this was a pretty good way of doing it. And I have a funny feeling the Americans are going to do exactly the same thing. They're going to say, oh, well, we can pause. And all of a sudden, there's going to be a massive spike up in prices. And then they'll have to go right back to raising rates again. So anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's just so debilitating in these kind of environments because the politicians clearly are not listening to the electorate. And if anything, the guy running my country, he just keeps, it's one scandal after another scandal after another scandal. Now he has just an absolutely stunning conflict of interest scandal going on with a crony that was appointed to oversee stuff, but, you know, total conflict of interest. And what does the dear leader do? Like a good leader, he gets the hell out of the country, heads over to Ukraine to announce more military aid for the Ukrainians, which of course plays great in the international stage, but the locals here in the country are just up in arms over this guy. Just, it never ends with this son of a gun. Anyway, just goes to show how can you tell when a politician's lying to you, and even substitute drama teacher politicians. As for Econs specifically driving the market today, as you can see Monday here, don't even really have anything significant coming out of the North American market here. As I said, it's kind of quiet. And it's, I think it's kind of like a calm before the storm before Fed. A little bit of consumer inflation expectation, and that sort of was the headline for the news this morning, although, you know, relatively minor print. Inflation expectations lowest since 2021, still running at about 2 times what they really should be, but if anything, I'm almost feeling like this was as good as it got here in this cycle. Now get ready for some more crank back up. Anyway, as I said there a moment ago, we are in sort of the I'm not quite sure what you call it, like pre-staging for the US Fed, which should dominate Wednesday. And we'll probably have one of our little videos sessions through that Fed announcement event. That's always fun. It's interesting to see how crude oil prices themselves are collapsing, and yet Canadians, like here in the lower mainland, we're now paying more than $2 a liter for unleaded gasoline. Basically going exact opposite directions. Why? Because this stupid idiot leader of ours has decided to throw in a whole bunch of tax increases. Because of course this is the woke thing to do with global warming and all that bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry, not global warming, because actually it isn't. I showed you the other day, Vancouver in the middle of June freezing our asses off like usual. Then very normal. Nothing's really changing. So no, it's called climate change, right? And they even changed the damn verbiage. It's just another reason to raise the damn taxes, which is such a shame because Canada is like one of the heaviest tax societies in the world. Anyway, you can hear it in my voice. So frustrated with all this. Not quite sure what the situation is down in the States. I bet you I'm going to get to the point where actually I'm no longer going to fill my gas tank up in Canada. I will go across the border and buy all my gas and my food down in Washington State. Somebody was even telling me yesterday the difference in the prices of grapes if you just go over the border. Literally grapes, you buy grapes on the vine, right? Just, I mean, they're just fruit. And literally the price just going across the border is twice what it is down in Washington State. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So anyway. All right, so slow news day. We're getting ready for the Fed. The political bullshit is just thick as ever. And the politicians, of course, lying through their teeth constantly. Yeah, business as usual. Being Monday, from the day trader's perspective, as I like to show you guys, I like to I've had people sort of say, Brian, can you teach a course on how to set yourself up to day trade? And this is basically what I would be doing. You lay out all your trading plans, and of course, log and diarize everything that you do, and then have like sort of an overview. And here we are. Today is Monday. I think today's the 12th. Yeah. And I was up fairly early. By opening range trade was just all over the map. So I didn't really do anything there in crude. Huge opening range trade there. A little bit beyond my temperament to take, so I had to let that pass. As I said, Econs, kind of wishy-washy. It's kind of a slow news day. Actual specific news, I mean, I'm not quite sure how to interpret this whole Trump thing. The way that you sort of hear them spin this, is he going to get jail time? He might. I don't know. If you listen to Trump himself when he's up on this stump, he's sort of blabbing away that this is all just, political politics, and really it's just trumped up charges, no pun intended. So there is that soap opera going on, but I do hear, and I made a prediction 4 years ago through that whole Biden election, that don't be surprised if 4 years from now Mr. Trump comes storming back. And I hear, just sort of in the sentiment, people are just absolutely aghast at how bad this sort of political cronyism is on both sides of the aisle. That Mr. Biden hasn't done himself any favors, and so it's going to be a horse race this coming year, that's for sure. The question, of course, is can they throw Trump in jail? They're giving him, the people that are in charge, if you will, they're going to take a serious run at Trump if they can. Other than that, there was a fairly big merger in the tech space. Well, not really tech, but NASDAQ trying to sort of muscle in on CME's sort of monopoly in the financial services space. I thought that was kind of interesting. And we're probably going to see that more and more mergers and acquisitions through this part of the cycle. That would make sense. Getting ready for the coming bull market. Other than that, it's a lot of just sort of same old here. Of course, and I tweeted it out. I find it hilarious that this guy can just sort of publicly come out and call Bitcoin a fraud. And yet, once again, here we are. JP Morgan agrees to settle whatever the particular class action lawsuit is. And then that way, nothing is said from this point forward on any of this. And of course, all the secret lists and stuff like that all never come to the surface. So anyway, interesting to see that. I think JP Morgan took a shot at seeing whether they could actually win this case. And Joey went and did a disposition there a week or so ago, and nobody believed any of his bullshit. And indeed, they even pointed out, the lawyers for the class action people pointed out that Mr. Diamond was being slightly not exactly forthwith. I can't remember what the term is that they use. And so Joey and JP Morgan in particular went, you know what, we better just settle this thing because this isn't going our way. Anyway, so it just, what a sad commentary on our society. Joey and all of them get away with more bullshit, and the truth will never come to the surface. And how ironic, right? This is the guy that basically called Bitcoin a fraud. And ironically enough, in my past 10, 15 years working in the market, working with all of you, social media and stuff, of course, I never did any of this stuff before. I'd have to say Bitcoin's probably one of the only actually really truthful things. It just keeps doing its same old thing day in, day out, never really changes. When you value commodities, it's sort of like, when you labeling corn or, wheat as a fraud. I mean, it's, anyway, it's more frustration. It's what a sign of the times, eh? Anyway. So, news-wise, didn't really see anything other than just typical crap that we humans do. As I said, not really anything opening range trade. Monday too, don't really like to take big trades on Mondays anyway. What I like to do is sort of identify first thing in the morning if I'm interested in a trade, and hopefully you're seeing this behavioral pattern over and over and over from me. I like to I'm concentrated on trading the crude, the gold, and the ES. I go through all of the markets and I ask, well, are we at trade location? And crude was the only one that actually set up trade location. I have ATR, got horizontal support and resistance. So an interesting level to look for a bounce, and you can see this tail's got quite a bit of room in there. There was quite a nice little trade there this morning. The only problem was, and this is the way it goes. I mean, it's typical Monday, right? So Monday, usually the market doesn't set up these trades very well, but there's 50% levels. Hell, there's VWAP way up there. I suppose we could have done 50% levels off the entire range. But just this morning, setting myself up, what's typical day trader sort of look like. Actually had nice, bullish divergences all forming down here below 4.669. There's that ATR level. There's those horizontal support and resistance levels. This was a perfectly good place to look for a long shot. Bull div comes in. Willie's nice and stupid. So at this point, it was just like I was in laser beam mode. It was like, all right, can I please have a W? And I will buy. And you can see, vroom, straight up, no W. Jerks. So that's been sort of my day. And then, looking at the other markets, just to give you an idea of what it is that I sort of look for. And this is basically what I try and teach in these education programs. Nothing really in the 4-hour chart with regard to gold. In fact, when I woke up first thing this morning, we were just banging around at these moving averages and this trend line, kind of like I would call this no man's land. You can see market went up, market went down, so we're not really doing anything. And the stock market up a whopping 1/4%. Murat, of course, let everybody know here first thing this morning that we need to officially roll into the September contract for ES trading. But long and short of it here is there's our settlement, kind of a small range here. Moving averages, of course, holding the market up, but there's ATR way up top here. And now this September contract, remember I was showing you on the June contract, it looked like we were at a megaphone top. This September contract's nowhere near there, and we could very easily jump all the way up top here. And actually what I'm kind of, sort of scratching my head about a little bit here is it looks to me like this is your bullish bot A, B, C, D, but these are alt A, B, C, D levels. 127.2 and 1.618 all the way up top. This is the top of the parking garage sort of levels. So I think, like I'm from Missouri. I think I want to see, especially with these moving average or these trend lines, all supporting a move higher here. I think I'm looking for the market to move into that ATR level sometime through tomorrow. Probably it gets bumped up a little bit more. And of course, there's your Fed announcement event date right there. So this to me looks like they are buying the rumor and then, on the other side of the Fed, look out, sell the news. I had kind of conjectured that it looked to me like maybe we were going to do like a sell the rumor or buy the news. And that way this move would be, the interest rate increase path. Maybe we're near the end of that. But looking at this chart, I don't like what I'm seeing here. And if anything, I'm almost a little worried now that it's sort of like they're bidding prices up because everybody's euphoric and enthusiastic that we're not going to have an interest rate increase. But very much like the Canadians, you see, they paused and did not raise interest rates there a month or two ago. And now we've got like rampant price inflation right back. Housing prices getting back up there. Food prices, like I said, it's embarrassing going to the grocery store. I was at the grocery store. I was thinking about buying 6 hot dog buns. 6 fucking hot dog buns, $3.50 for 6 fucking hot dog buns. Thank you very much, substitute drama teacher, you stupid asshole. Oh, God, drives you crazy. Anyway, if anything, what I'm worried about here, the Americans are following along the same path. And then, of course, we've got all that treasury issuance coming down the pike. But if they don't raise, and then, if I have to follow some sort of plan like the Canadians, and we actually do get inflationary pressures coming roaring back here this summer down in the States, then, the market's going to have to do this megaphone and crank down here back down to these lows. So I don't know whether it's going to go that way in the States. I don't think so. With a, substitute drama teacher hyperinflation here. I don't think it's going to go that route, but that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. Regardless, this is almost like this is as good as it gets. If the Fed does decide to pause here, then that means that they probably will have to raise more down the road. And of course, like we said, we got that huge treasury issuance problem looming on the horizon. All right, there you go. Rant. For the record, still love I'm not overly impressed with things like crypto stocks. In fact, actually this coin, you can see, I think, actually that's not noted here. I don't like the look of this. We're starting to get M structure now in here. And if we just play connect the dots, megaphones, notice these 2 Foggenbaums floating out here. I could actually see coin lose about 50% of its value here. So if you are an investor in these crypto stocks, I'd be damn careful here. This does not look good at all. And if you know, like the issue with stock is, and you can see where I bought some. The issue with stock, of course, is that this is not a commodity. It's not, I mean, like, is corn going to disappear from the world and you'll never have another grain of corn again? No. Wheat, no. Soybeans, no. But something like a Coinbase global stock, this thing doesn't have to exist. And we were bantering about on the site, throwing around Hugh Hendry videos this morning, and he's not overly impressed with all of this. And his prediction is a bit challenging for these kind of stocks. So just be forewarned. If anything, what I was posting in social media, I can't really comment on whether a company like Coin is even going to survive. I just don't know. And frankly speaking, if they become excommunicated by American legislators, then really, what's the point in there in me even existing? But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I don't think it's going to get to that point. But we'll see what happens. Regardless, I don't know whether I would call that a megaphone, but I definitely like the idea that if we start slipping here, you can see the M's. What are we supposed to think if we see the market smiling at us? So be careful there, folks. That looks very, very dangerous. And of course, I suppose we'll finish off this free video with just a quick boo at the corn and stuff. The corn, Bitcoin. I had said yesterday in the free show that I kind of thought, could we have like this turn into an inside bar, because basically this bar is completely inside the previous bar's range, and maybe we can actually get a half decent little rally here into the Fed. But man, I didn't see anything. When I came back from Liam yesterday, actually this candle had started to print, and we actually made a new low, breaking that inside bar pattern there. So there's nothing to get excited about there. Ironically enough, actually, I don't think it's Bitcoin that's actually going to get hit hard here. I get the funny feeling that things like ETH, oh boy, this looks dangerous. I was surprised when I pulled this chart up here. Look at that, eh? Wow, holy moly. So is this a megaphone? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I kind of like the megaphone kind of thinking here, though. Although, you might argue that we've already hit the 3 points. Revisit of the midpoint of this range, the midpoint of the megaphone. I kind of like that, and then of course Foggenbaums, that big M, kind of like what you saw on Coinbase there. I suppose we could probably, since we've broken through those, we could also do another Foggenbaum off of here. Notice they're basically the same level. That does not look encouraging, folks. I have said repeatedly that I still have not bought Liam his 32 Ethereums. And 2023, of course, is the accumulation year for all of these Schult coins, right? 2023, Little Old Lady Canasta Club holdings. Some people have been asking if they could participate in that spreadsheet. I don't think, as I had said yesterday, I don't think it's really something that I would say there's really a heck of a lot that you can glean off of it. I show you guys the spreadsheet. I show you the altcoins that I'm purchasing. I know Fjord is trying to get pages on the site up and running of those holdings. So look forward to that down the road. That's probably the best way to sort of participate in something like that. So it is on the development docket. I did see Eddie, and there is Eddie in the video here today. I did say that he was actually giving invites out to some people that did want to have access to that Little Old Lady document, the Canasta Club document. So if anything, thank you very much, Eddie, for sort of quarterbacking all that. And all the rest of you Canasta Club players, if you guys aren't interested anymore, or you don't really want to contribute, this is assuming we do go and make a pile of money with these long bets that we're taking here into 25, maybe early 26. then there's really no point in you participating in that. I have seen a couple people that said that they were kind of interested. They kind of backed away, and that's fine. Nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head. But just understand that the whole point of that club was we wanted to purchase a property for TRI as sort of like a campus. And we had one place in mind when we were touring Portugal last year. The deal never really went through. So we said, well, why don't we take some money that we were going to put at that and let's put it towards building out some of these, the Canasta Club portfolios. That's sort of like this thinking. I mean, you can see all the various different names that I've been buying away here. And I'm just going to keep accumulating through 23. I mean, there's nothing new to any of this. And if anything, this is perfect example where over probably the next month or two, well, probably month, let's say, probably in the middle of July, this correction will be over. I would like to see prices fall. I'd like to see this Ethereum, actually, frankly speaking, I'd like to see Ethereum come right back down to this $1,000 area. And then that way I can go buy Liam his Ethereums and I'm not going to be spending 2 G's a piece. I think, maybe 30 G's, like supposed to buy 32 Ethereums. But if I could throw like 30 grand at it, $1,000 a piece, I think that's not a terrible price. But I don't want to pay 2,000. It's too much. So, and ironically enough, if you want to play these names, but you don't like shorting, and frankly speaking, I don't blame you because shorting is pretty dangerous. You can always think of the down proxies. The only issue here, though, is Binance going to be around 2 or 3 months from now? And, this is the classic sort of unregulated market. You don't know what the hell is going to happen here. CZ is awfully slippery guy, so I would imagine he's going to survive. But, caveat emptor, you're taking your chances. And of course, this is an unregulated market space. So all of you should understand, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but if there was like a relative risk threshold or spectrum, if you will, I would say playing cryptocurrencies is as risky as even things like playing the bulletin board stocks and the OTC, the pink sheets, where we would specifically say, if anybody ever called me up and asked me, well, what do you think about this bulletin board stock or this pink sheet stock or, anything along those lines? I would say, you realize that the directors, it's even written right in the fine print of any marketing material from an OTC stock. They have no legal obligation to tell you the truth whatsoever. And they don't. So why would crypto be any different? I hate to say it, but I put a tweet out the other day, or sort of retweeted another person's tweet, and I think it totally summarizes my crypto experience so well here. It's weird. It's sort of like if your sister calls you fat or something, or ugly or something like that in your family, well, okay, that's acceptable. I mean, we don't like it and whatever. But if a complete stranger calls you fat or, ugly or something like that, well, them's fighting words. And I get the feeling that that's exactly what's going on here. It's funny when crypto is doing its own crypto games, and inside of it, we all sit here and go, can you believe how corrupt this is? Oh my God, holy unregulated. Can you believe he got away with that? Oh my God. And then for some reason, when some outside authority comes along and says, well, these kids, this is pretty shady shit. All of a sudden we're like, how dare you, and all this crap. And I got to tell you, that's exactly what I think crypto is. So, try and identify value. Try and identify, when it comes to things like investing in stocks, we want to try and buy low share count stocks. We want to try and buy stocks where we know the insiders are long from certain levels and we want to be long from those levels too. And, unfortunately, what killed a lot of little junior stocks here recently was you want to make damn sure there's no debt, right? Now, this whole interest rate cycle increase killed a lot of little VCIM names kind of idea. And there was one name in particular that, hey, even I fell into a trap on little pharmaceutical stock where they, like I like news of shares for debt, i.e., old debt gets exchanged for stock in the new company. That's a great sign of value. And the company that I bought, and I got other people to buy, which was kind of stupid, it actually issued a convertible bond, which is debt. Oh, God, absolutely wrong. And as a result, when this interest rate cycle happened, the whole, the company just went bankrupt. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say here is we're not really out of the woods yet. Next 6 months, going to be pretty challenging. Ironically enough, I could actually see these bear proxies actually do okay in this kind of environment. Some of these stocks, I don't know. You might find that there's another wave of bankruptcies into the fall that have to happen here, folks. Just understand that. That is part of this game. And if you can't handle this kind of risk, then get the F out of this market. This is a very, very dangerous market. If you're going, if you're going to play in the market, take appropriate risks. Brian has these 2 rules of investing. Don't put more than 5% of your money at risk in any one idea. And that's specifically so if a name that you happen to invest in doesn't do very well or goes belly up, you're not wiped out. So just understand that. And understand too that it's an unregulated space and there's a lot of warts that this space has. We haven't even gotten through the SBF trial yet. Like all through this SBF trial, you're going to constantly be hearing from the regulators how evil and nasty and crooked this space is. So just be forewarned. Now, what I would say, and I'll finish off the video with this, kind of a positive note maybe. I've always noticed in years gone by that even through sort of correction times, the big blue chip, sort of quality names, if you will, if you want to use that kind of term, they seem to do all right. So I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere. And if anything, I actually think history's just repeating itself. Through this period, there was crypto winter back in 2015. And a very tough market state. And then we actually got into the very first auction. Who was it? No, I guess it was the second auctioning of Silk Road seized coins by the US. I guess it was some weird department. But anyway, that was through here. And then once we got into here, then we were sort of into the next cycle and everybody talked about development and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're right in here. And I know a lot of people like to sort of compare us to the past cycle, but I actually really like us to compare us to this 15-16 cycle. There's a lot of similarities to this. If it's something like Bitcoin, I definitely like the idea of trying to figure out where cost of production is. We had a long conversation about that yesterday. And I don't think you need to be in a big hurry. We have Sjord on the site who is very, very smart in the space. And he's identified about 4 or 5 names, stories. You all know them: Route, RNDR, LTO, his little Ticketmaster proxy. Anyway, and if anything, tune in on Tuesdays in the Afterparty. That's when Sjord goes through his report that he does on the site on a weekly basis. So, those kind of names basically just said, look, at just once a month, go in and just do a little bit of nibbling. And we want to buy in size. So just pace yourself, go slowly. There's no hurry. And, something like Bitcoin, I could very easily see if you can buy this thing anywhere between say 10 and 20 G's, next cycle, could we see 100,000 to 200,000 as a peak? Actually, I think that's actually pretty conservative. And it would be very similar to this last cycle, because this last cycle, we bottomed, I think about $5,000, somewhere in that area, 4,500 or so. And we worked our way up to 65. So that's like 10x. So we bottomed somewhere around, I don't know, 12,000, 13,000. 10x of that's 130,000, 140,000. Yeah, that seems perfectly realistic. So that's probably the way that I'm looking at the market right now. If anything, what I did notice in the TRI lounge is, a lot of people are going to need a lot of sort of reassurance that, okay, we're in a down environment, price is going to be falling. A lot of people are going to be questioning, should I really be doing this? And then this comes all back to your plan. This is why you have to plan, so that when you go through all of this in your plan, you see specifically, my plan is to buy when the public is not interested. My plan is to buy value. My plan is to buy near the cost of production. My plan is to buy when I start hearing people think like 51% attack talk. My plan is to buy when I see that the 1% is jazzing the media to really drive the negative message home. And I can see across social media that the kids are just absolutely dying 1,000 deaths. I got to be buying when they're crying. And then you all know how the rest of that goes, selling when they're something. And that's the hardest part of this stupid game, is that when we're going up here, people will actually publicly come out and say, well, don't worry about technical analysis, just buy and you'll get rich. And it's just like, oh, where are those people now? Anyway, okay, so there's your report for a Monday. Hopefully I gave you some value somewhere in all of that. We're going to head on over and do the after party. A little bummed that our weekly commodity trend survey page is down. Not quite sure why, but should be lots of fun signals for us to review in the after party. That's what I like to do on Mondays. Also, too, we had a couple requests, so we'll peruse through a few names and give you our 2 cents on what I see happening there. So have yourselves a great day. Remember, Wednesday is the FOMC event, so really I wouldn't even read anything into price action for the next, 48 hours or so. And then we'll have a nice, fun public broadcast through the FOMC event, and that'll be a great sort of way to get us ready for post FOMC market state. All right, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now. Hate those substitute drama teachers.